Cannibalism, which is also called anthropophagy, is the eating of human flesh by humans. The term is derived from the Spanish name caribales or cannibales for the Carib, which is a Western Indies tribe well known for practicing cannibalism. Cannibalism is a widespread custom going back into early human history, and it has been found among peoples on most continents. I will discuss cannibalism's history and the use of it by humans throughout history. In the 15th century, Europeans believed that they discovered a miracle cure that was called mummia. They believed that this was a remedy for things such as epilepsy, hemorrhaging, bruising, nausea, and other medical ailments. Mummia could be consumed in a drink. It was crushed up, somewhat of a powder. It could be consumed into a drink. It could be made into a salve, and it could also just be eaten. Mummia was made through the process of grinding up human flesh. The word cannibal dates back to the time of Christopher Columbus. On the island of Guadalupe, Columbus discovered a tribe called the Caribs. And the Caribs made violent raids against other tribes and groups of people, and they would cook and eat their prisoners. Somewhere along the way, the word Carib turned into cannibal, which has since been used to describe anyone who eats human flesh. So some reasons that people practice cannibalism are widely varying. It could be used simply for survival. People need food. Survival cannibalism involves eating the dead or starving to prevent dying themselves or starving themselves. During the Cultural Revolution, privately owned farms were collectivized in China, and this obviously did not work, which resulted in a lot of people starving and dying. Many people across China were reduced to incidences known as starvation cannibalism. Families were often reduced to trading their children with their neighbors, which is a horrific practice. So they wouldn't end up killing and eating their own children. They would trade their children with the neighbors. Cultural cannibalism it involves accepted practices of eating human flesh within the culture that is practicing them. Cannibalism has been used for remedies, as well as cultural practices. The demand for mummia, as I discussed before, the demand for it was just too great, and they could not only eat Egyptian mummies, they eventually had to steal bodies from European cemeteries. One popular form of cannibalism involves sons and daughters that would offer a piece of their own flesh to their sick parents to cure their parents. And this was typically not fatal. They would offer like a finger rarely, or a piece of their leg or something that was not fatal but could possibly cure their parents of an illness. Many Europeans, whether it be from royalty to scientists, routinely ate remedies that contained human body parts, human bones, fat, and blood in order to solve everyday ailments such as headaches or things like epilepsy. Medicinal cannibalism reached a feverish pitch around 1680, but the practice can be traced back to the Greek doctor Galen, who recommended human blood, as part of some remedies as early as the 2nd century AD, and this continued all the way to the 20th century. Another category is mortuary cannibalism, which is the consumption of the dead during their funerals. They ask to be consumed by family members, loved ones, etc. In conclusion, between fictional stories that have been brought up through the past to verifiable practices, there are large gaps in history involving cannibalism, and there is no one history of cannibalism, one story of how it came about. Cannibalism is a widespread custom going back into the early human history, and cannibalism has been found among peoples on most continents. We do know that people have been eating each other, volunteering themselves to be eaten, and accusing others of eating people for millennium throughout history.